We'll start with our today's session. So, dear friends, we are discussing regarding the chapter number 31 from Kant's philosophy. And part of it we have discussed in yesterday's lecture. Kant has defined the totality in a different manner. He started explaining about this practical part with his own philosophy and explaining the practical part of Organon right from aphorism number 146. And while dealing with the patients, one requires the totality of the symptoms. Hahnemann have defined it in the seventh aphorism. It is an outwardly reflected picture of the internal essence of the disease, that is, of the affection of vital force. But Kant has specified it. Kant had given directly, it is the sum of all characteristic symptoms is called as totality of the symptoms. Because common symptoms doesn't give you exactly the individuality. You cannot get the individuality on the basis of common symptoms. And that's why the Kent mentions the totality in a different manner, and he explains over there the totality of the symptoms is the sum of all characteristics. Boningosen have tried it in his own manner in a different words. It is the sum of complete symptoms. But whenever the symptom becomes complete, generally it becomes characteristics, and that's why both definitions found to be a truth. And he has given the importance of these characteristic symptoms over there in this specific chapter. So, some part of it he has mentioned, and he explained about that unless and until you get the characteristics over there in your case, it is not possible to get exactly the remedy. If you get 100 vague symptoms, it doesn't have meaning. But if you get three characteristic symptoms in the patient, that's all that makes your prescription. And that's why every patient who comes to you, in that case, you must have the characteristic symptoms so that you can lead towards some totality or specific totality. Second important point he has highlighted over there are no specifics in homeopathy. Homeopathic specific is the specific remedy of that patient at that specific time, depending upon symptom similarity. So there is no specific remedy like belladonna for a headache or passiflora plus for sleep. Not like that. It is not specific. You should not go for that. If you go with that, you're going to fail in your practice. And that's what he has explained over there. Let us go ahead with the next paragraph. What he says. What constitutes a remedy homeopathy? The answer is it has demonstrated its curative relation to the patient. After having been prescribed in accordance with his symptoms, the recovery taking place in the proper direction from above onwards, from within outward, and in the reverse order of symptoms. See, he has explained it in a different way. Yesterday we have learned what constitutes a remedy homeopathy. The remedy which is the remedy which shows positive results in the patient and acted in the patient is called as homeopathic. That's what he has said. But here he mentions that it should be the cure should take place according to the Hering's law of direction of cure. The cure should take place from above onwards, from within outward, from the center to periphery, in the reverse order of appearance of the symptoms, from the organs of greater importance to the organs of lesser importance. If this is happening, it means your remedy is perfect remedy. It is called as a homeopathic remedy. That constitutes the remedy homeopathic, and that constitutes the prescription homeopathic. Very nicely he has mentioned. It is then a specific remedy, and in no other sense can a remedy called specific. Hahnemann gives his theory of cure in paragraph 148, but you are not compelled to adopt it. Hahnemann himself says that it is only a theory, and he offers it as simply the best in view, but not as binding upon you to accept. In the aphorism number 148, he has tried to explain how how homeopathic remedy acts and how it acts dynamically in acute cases and how it acts in chronic cases. In acute cases, you don't know how the remedy has acted and patient symptoms disappears imperceptibly without knowing when this has disappeared. But in the same paragraph, in the same aphorism, in the next paragraph, he mentions if you are treating chronic disease, it is not so. In chronic disease, it happens, it takes long time to get cured. At the same time, he mentions it is with some, it is not imperceptibly, but with some troubles, and it is not with single dose. Here, patient may require a remedy in different potencies or different remedies in different potencies, and it's a long process. It is not one remedy which will going to cure that patient, and that's what he has mentioned in 148. But in paragraph 149 is something that must be accepted. That is, it must be known and then accepted because it is true. It is a general statement of the results of homeopathic remedy in the cure of disease. The rejection of this paragraph must effect a separation amongst those who do not believe and those who do believe. When a proper application of homeopathic remedy has been made, the acute disease which is to be cured, however malignant or painful, may subside in a few hours if recent and infused if it is somewhat older. So here he mentions that if it is an acute disease, it will disappear within some hours, imperceptible. But if it is chronic, if it is older, then it takes a little bit time. And this he tried his level best. Hahnemann tried his level best to explain. He has made his concept very clear and he is making it clear to you also. Many times, many practitioners make the different thoughts in their mind. They consider this is the one remedy is the patient's remedy forever. No, it's not so. Specifically when you are dealing with the chronic cases, patient may require one or more remedies to get cured. Because here you are curing that patient state by state. The disease has already developed in different states, and when patient comes to your homeopath, he is already have covered many states. Then when you start treating that patient with one remedy, one state is cured, then he might require another state, for that another remedy. So it is Hahnemann himself have mentioned in that aphorism that if patient has to get cured, it requires one remedy in different potency, or it might require many remedies in sequence. From this, I am placed under plain necessity of acknowledging that if under my treatment such diseases do not subside, I have not found the right remedy. And if your remedy is wrong, patient will not going to get cured. It means your remedy is not homeopathic. So he was very clear. If remedy is homeopathic, it will going to produce a cure. That will force the honest homeopathic physician to seek for the proper remedy. So if you are not getting the result, you have to take the case again. You have to find it out all details and then again deal with the patient. Let not the blame be placed upon the failure of the system and the law and the order, but let it be placed upon one who practices it. And this one should get clear. So if you are not getting satisfied or satisfied result, don't blame homeopathy. Blame yourself that you have not found it out right homeopathic remedy, right similum. If you get that, you're going to get the cure. And this happens many times in our practice. Just so sure as you find the homeopathic remedy in case of scarlet fever, just so sure you will see that fever fall and the child improve. While the rash will remain out, nothing of the malignancy of the case will remain. And in an ordinary case of scarlet fever, we find that in a few days, the child is so much better, he wants to go to school. So if you have prescribed for scarlet fever, means fever with rash, and after giving remedy, fever disappeared, patient is improving, his rash remains only, but patient started getting good appetite, patient got the full strength, he is able to move, he is able to do all his activities, then it's right, your prescription is homeopathic. But then when we treat the child and not the fever, So here your prescription is not for fever for the child. Just so sure as the physician has in mind the rash of the scarlet fever or measles as the main element of the disease, he will make a failure and the patient will not recover so speedily. But as a matter of fact, the homeopathic physician prescribes for the patient on that which characteristics characterizes the sickness, even though it be what is called a self-limiting disease. So, if such a patient of scarlet fever comes to you and you are treating a patient of scarlet fever, then he explains that in such types of cases, when you are prescribing, you have to prescribe for the patient and not for his rash. You must know what should be treated and how it should be treated. You must find it out what is the characteristic and catch that remedy. If you catch that remedy and prescribe for the patient, it works. But if you find it out remedy on the basis of scarlet fever and with the rash, and if you try to give the medicine, you might get the failure. Patient's recovery will not be fast as it should be when you treat the child. And this is what one must know. And then he turns toward the aphorism 150. What he says. This treats one of the difficulties we have to contend with. If the patient complains of slightly accessory symptoms which have just appeared, the physician ought not take this state of the things for the perfect malady that seriously demands medicinal aid, etc., etc. It is right for you, when your patients are under constitutional treatment, to prescribe for cold, but not when it is not an ordinary one. So he is explaining here that how one should go ahead. If the patient is of indisposition, slight alteration in the state of health, and that is not of a severe character, it is of a mild character, then physician must know that it never requires medicine. There is no need to give the medicine. Even though that patient is of your patient and patient you are treating that patient for the constitutional and a trial element happens in his life and because of which he have mild indisposition. Let it be, it will disappear its own because nature has its own order to recover. But if it is of a severe character, then you have to interfere. Then you have to treat that indisposition with a right remedy, right simillimum, having that similar pace. You will have the patient that will come to you at every change of wind, at every attack of snuffles the baby has, at every little headache or every little pain. If you then proceed to change your remedy or prescribe for each one of these little spells of indisposition, you will, in the course of later while, have such a state of disorder in the individual that you will wonder that what is the matter with the patient. That's the problem. If you go on prescribing for every trivial element, it will create a chaos. It will create a problem. You should not prescribe for each and every symptom over there. There is no need. If you are treating such types of patients, then keep some patients on placebo. Just prescribe and tell them that yes, it will going to cure and patient will going to get cured. You had better give her no medicine at all. And if she is wise and strong and can feel confidence, you can say to her that she does not need medicine for this attack. But occasionally give her a dose of constitutional medicine when these little attacks are not on. While you are young and cannot hold these patients with an iron grasp, when they come to you, you had better give them placebo and let the indisposition pass off of itself. And this is the right thing one has to do. If you are not sure, if you are sure that patient will not require medicine, but if you just tell the patient there is no need of medicine, patient may run away with another physician or another allopath. So instead of that, Kent says that it is better to give that patient a placebo. That will be better. Patient himself feels that he is on treatment and he is taking the medicine, and that feeling is very important for satisfaction. Watch it. However, It may at the close develop some constitutional manifestation and throw light upon the patient that you have been treating. So if you don't interfere with medicine, during that time, patient might throw out certain symptoms and which defines you a very specific remedy for that patient as a constitutional. On the other hand, it is an easy matter to prescribe for severe acute diseases. They are decisive, they strongly manifest their symptoms, they are sharp cut in their expressions, the symptoms are prominent, and you will not be confused as you will in the slight indisposition. The slight indispositions are not descriptive. You do not know what to do for them. In vain, you seek to find that which characterizes them, and hence it is doubtful about any remedy that is administered being of any value. You will be astonished after prescribing a number of years, and your patients have gained confidence in you that when they come in with these little trial elements, they won't have them after few powders of sugar. They will say, Doctor, my trouble went off splendidly. And this is what is meant by letting the little things alone. And here he makes it clear that when patient comes to you with such trivial indisposition, trivial complaint, it is your duty to tell them there is no need to give the medicine, but instead of that, give them placebo. And after some time, when you treat them with confidence, then patient starts believing you. Then the patient never complains of trivial elements to you. They understand that this itself disappear, and such a thing is very much necessary. When you become a old practitioner, definitely you'll find this what Kent has said. I have seen that many patients comes to me and they say, Doctor, is this problem require medicine? Just takes opinion. And many times I say, no, there is no need, and they run away. There is no need. If the patient is unconstitutional and if has a tribal indisposition, no need to prescribe. Just tell them no need, and patient will be with the constitutional only. This is what is meant by letting the little things alone. Severe disease exhibits a strong degree of symptoms, hence you have something to do. So in 151, he has mentioned if the indisposition of a strong character comes, violent character comes, then definitely it requires medicine. Indisposition of mild character never requires medicine. Indisposition of strong character always requires medicine. Paragraph 150. But if the few symptoms of which the patient complains are very violent, the physician who attentively observes him will generally discover many others which are less developed and which furnish a perfect picture of malady. So, if in such cases, if there is a indisposition and if it is of violent character, for example, patient has consumed some bad food and he has a lot of vomitings and a lot of diarrhea, and then patient comes to you with dehydration, he is in acute agony. Yes, patient might require medicine because it is needed at that time. But if you're going to get a mild character indisposition, then patient might not require medicine. So this is what he has explained over there in detail. Nothing to be confused, and he was very clear with his thoughts. So here complete this chapter. Let us go ahead with the next chapter in the tomorrow session. So we'll meet again tomorrow with the next chapter, and we'll continue with this Kant's philosophy. So that's all for today. Today evening we're going to finish the Thuja completely, so that one big constitutional remedy will be finished at 8 o'clock. Be there and meet in that session. Any query is there, we'll have a chat. Otherwise, we'll meet at 8 o'clock. So thank you, everyone.